Hello, my friends.
Hey.
Now, of all the places to plant, we're thinking of planting here, 15k away, and you're planning on going 15,000 kilometres away. So I guess the initial question is, why Scotland? Why Scotland, Loz?
Good question. So in a snapshot, so before Tim started working at Norwest, he'd worked in a Prezi church in Dundee in Scotland for a couple of years, really loved it and knew that there was such a need there. When he came back, that's where we met. It came up in our dating life that this is something that Tim wanted to pursue eventually at some point. Then we got married and we went to college. And in 2018, we started having conversations with people overseas in Scotland about what that might look like for us. We planned to go over there in 2020 to have a visit because I'd never been there before. COVID happened, so we didn't get there. We went there last year, and if you had spoken to me the week before we left, I would have told you there will need to be some spiritual or supernatural thing that has to happen in my life for me to say yes to this, because I'm like 99% sure that I'm not going to do this. We've got a toddler, so that just means that life had changed, and the idea of taking her away from her grandparents was very daunting. But we got over there and we spent some time with St Silas, which is in Glasgow, and we spent a day touring around Glasgow, the city, and I just saw so many church buildings, like old, historic, stone, beautiful church buildings being transformed into pubs and clubs and cafes. And it really broke my heart. And there was a story of a church who had a tough decision to make. They either could stay with the denomination that they were with, who were starting to, accept same-sex marriage, or they could move out of their building. And the faithful saints decided, no, we trust the Bible and we believe that what it says about marriage is true, and we're going to give up our building. And that was one of many churches that we heard who did that. And I was like, oh my gosh, like how amazing that these people are willing to give up their building for the sake of the truth of the gospel. And I remember us sitting down and debriefing about it afterwards in tears. And I just said to Tim, like, we have to go. Like, we have to. It would be unfaithful and wrong of us to come back to our comfortable life in the hills knowing that this is going on, and we want to partner with these people to make sure that the gospel is preached truthfully in Scotland, so many might be saved. So
the 1% happened.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a dangerous prayer, isn't it?
It was definitely a spiritual thing. Like, the Holy Spirit was like, you need to come, and it was very clear to me.
So my question then is, why plant a church, Tim? Why not just go and become the senior pastor of an existing Anglican church, or a senior assistant minister, or something like that? But why actually go and plant with all the headaches, with all the expense, with all the blessings, sure, but hard work?
Yeah, well, we're specifically thinking about a part of Glasgow, the east end of Glasgow, which is very, very gospel poor. So 0.3% of the population of the east end of Glasgow are in an evangelical church on a Sunday. And we're doing the maths at 8:30, and so that means if you had 1,000 people, you got 3 who are in an evangelical church. And so the need is great. And so there isn't an established church that we could go to in that area to be a part of. So we've got to plant something new. But one of the things about church planting is that new things attract new people, and that as you sort of look at people coming into church life from an unchurched background, it's more likely that people are going to join something that is new and a new expression of church, a new plant, rather than an established church that's been there for a long period of time. So in many ways, it's just the most normal thing you could possibly do when because Jesus is on the throne in this universe, and there's an area where he's not respected and he's not honoured and he's not people can't hear about him. Well, let's go and do something there. So that's why we're planting.
Go and tell them. My question is, final question, why now? Because you were over there a decade ago, part of a ministry team with a Presbyterian church in Dundee, but you've been here wonderfully for us for a decade. So why now?
Yeah, we just wanted to wait until we had a toddler and then another one on the way. I thought that'd be a really good time. In many ways, it's just sort of been, we've been seeking to be faithful in the journey along the way, and so we we've been talking about it for a long time. We've been investigating things. We had a trip planned for 2020, and then COVID got in the way. So there's been a few, just slight delays to things. But in God's kindness, we had real clarity last year from Him that this is what He would have us do, and so it was about, okay, well, how do we respond to that? We plan to start going now. So in many ways, it's just sort of, this is the faithful step, and this is the right time where God has for us, and so we're excited about what comes up, but we're daunted by that a little bit as well. We'd love for you to be praying for us. In the weekly email this week, we're going to send out a link to the to our prayer letter so that people can subscribe and hear from that and support us in that way.